Hey everyone! Thanks for being here for such a wonderful conference. This is the closing remarks. They go really fast. Firstly, I just want to say thanks everyone for making enforcement of the mask policy so super easy, and also for being good about vaccination and everything. Our goal was to see if it was possible to hold a conference in person again with zero COVID transmission, and obviously we won't know for a few days whether or not we succeeded, but I'm optimistic that we may have succeeded. Hopefully everyone who came here felt safe, and so whether or not we are hybrid in the future, at least we know that it can be done if we choose to do it, hopefully. Usually we talk about themes. As Marcus and I sort of discussed, it was really hard to pick themes out of the papers this year. So I guess the theme is diversity, and we're excited about that. We had a huge range of different sorts of approaches to the work. As always, we had machine learning and large language models. We had reinforcement learning. We had a real resurgence in symbolic logic, and of course your classic like search and planning. So it was really, I feel like it's an indicator of a healthy community that we've got so many people working with different tools on some similar goals, which is very exciting. We had a real diversity in evaluations this year, which I also love to see. Of course, we had the usual, human subjects on Prolific or something like that, or having people come into the lab and play the game. It's a classic for a reason. But we had some really nice metric-based ones, like automatically calculating metrics for quality of levels, quality of sound clips, and these kind of things. So some really creative automatic evaluations, and of course things like the StarCraft competition and other competition-based evaluations. Some creative crowdsourcing, collecting data and doing refinement on Twitter and things like that. So I feel like as a community we're really getting creative about how we evaluate our work, which I think is a real positive. One of the small trends that we did notice is this kind of shift back towards what we might call maximal systems. Like AIIDE kind of vacillates between this, like, let's build a really small one-off thing that's going to work for this very specific purpose, versus this grandiose, I want to build something that everybody can use that can glue together a bunch of different kinds of pieces. And I feel like this year we swing a little bit back towards the maximal side. Maybe in future years we'll go back to the minimal side, and we'll probably continue to oscillate back and forth there. So I thought that was an interesting and exciting trend. I hope that you will go out and use some of these larger systems that have invited participation from lots of other people. There were some themes that didn't emerge this year, which I thought were interesting. In the game space, like NFTs for games is a big topic, and we are the kind of people to be approached for metaverse style things. And this is not to say you can't submit this kind of stuff to AIIDE, but I was personally excited that these themes were not dominating the conversation as they are in some other places. So that was also nice. This is just a reminder that there are lots of people hiring right now. It's a great year to be on the job market. These are just open positions that people have posted on the Discord. That's a link to the Discord if you're not already in there. There are more people even than this that are hiring. Northeastern specifically, I think, is hiring like 7 or 8 positions. So this is a great year to be on the market if you are graduating or close to graduating. And then with that, I hand it over to Marcus, who has the happy task of announcing Best Paper Awards.
Thank you, Stephen. Yes, I have the happiest task of the entire conference, maybe announcing who won our 4 awards that we are giving out. And we'll start with the Best Paper nominees. The 3 nominees were Mike Cook, Seth Cooper, and Julia Mori, and co-authors for these 3 papers. And the winner, Mike Cook. Who is on the phone right now, so you haven't seen the talk yet, and it actually should say Puck because he did change the name afterwards. I apologize for that. And we have your certificate here, Mike. We're gonna send you a PDF. You can also come and pick it up at your convenience. I'm not sure if we have budget for mailing. So congratulations to Mike. For the best student papers, we had these 3 nominees: Aesthetic Bot, EM2, Adventures of AI Directors, Nightingale, Amor. The winner is EM2. And of course, we always have to pick a winner. All of the papers, all of the nominees are excellent contributions. It was really hard to choose from all the papers who should be nominated, and even harder to choose who should be the winners. So really, all of you are winners.
You want to speak briefly about your methodology?
Sure, I can also, yes, if you have some time. I didn't know how much time we have. Sure. Yeah, so basically, how do we choose these best paper winners? It would be really unfair if I just picked, like, this is my favorite paper, so I go by the reviews. And when you review, you actually have, you can nominate papers for best paper awards. So the ones that were nominated, if they had reviews that were above, let's say, accept, then they would be considered for nomination. It so worked out that there were exactly 3 papers in each of the 2 categories that fulfilled this criteria. Technically, there were 4, but one of them had very mixed reviews. So basically, it was like if the average was above, but that one paper, there was like strong reviews and then strong negative reviews. So that fell out on that grounds. And then between these 3 papers, it basically became a bit of a numbers game of which actually had the best reviews versus reading the actual reviews. Like, what were the points of criticism and comparing them again between the papers. So that's what I'm saying. Like, all of the nominees are really excellent papers. Numerically, they were often tied, and then reading into the actual evaluation, that's basically the distinguishing factor. What we want with these nominations, with the awards, is really to show, if you want to publish a paper at AIIDE, this is what it ideally looks like. So that's basically where we're going with this. Okay, we also have the other 2 awards. I'm also going to talk about the methodology for them. Best artifact nominees were these 3 on the challenges of generating pixel art, character sprites using guns, loose ends, and searching for balanced 2D roller games. Every author is encouraged to submit an artifact, and in the artifact evaluation, we also ask the reviewers to nominate artifacts for the Best Artifact Award. And then between those, it's the same idea. It so happened that 3 artifacts were nominated. Then I compared the reviews for them, and it was an exact tie between the first and the second place of this evaluation. And then I looked at which reviewer that actually nominated the artifact felt better about the artifact, which one felt worse, and what did the other reviewers say in the actual reviews. All 3 of these artifacts are excellent. All artifacts are excellent because we need more reproducibility. All of these are particularly excellent. And yeah, the one that won in the end was Loose Ends by Max Kaminsky and co-authors. Max, and then finally, the last award we have, the Best Program Committee Member. So how I selected those was, how many papers did each person review? How much did they participate in the discussion? How constructive was their feedback? Basically, how useful was what they did to the authors? Because as you have seen in conferences, there is sometimes a variety of reviews. All of our reviewers, they are generally helpful in their reviews. But some went above and beyond and really gave very detailed feedback. And then when it came to discussion, sometimes some reviewers participate a bit less in the discussion, and some really try to get a consensus opinion between the different reviewers. And these 3 particularly stood out as participating in the discussions. And the reviewer that actually won our Best Program Committee Member, Maren Avisus. So I just want to mention, she's not here, I think, but she reviewed more papers than anyone else due to some special circumstances that arose. And yet, for every single one of them, she provided very detailed feedback, and she participated in the discussions, and that was basically why she was chosen to win this, my personal favorite award.
One of the many changes that I wanted to make this year, and by wanted to make, I basically just asked Marcus to do it, and he was kind enough to oblige, was to settle who the program chair would be next year, where AIIDE would be next year, and what dates they would be next year. There have been years in the past where that information wasn't settled until like May, and that really makes it difficult to coordinate. So thank you to Marcus and to Rogelio in advance, who will be our general and program chairs respectively next year. where AIIDE will be at Utah, and I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, but they have been set.
I was told by AAAI I'm not allowed to say the dates because they haven't signed the contract yet.
Okay, they have not signed the contract, but tentatively it's looking like, second week in October, which is the usual time for AIIDE, so it's going to be about that same time frame. I really have to give a special thanks to Marcus. Marcus put in an absolutely incredible amount of work. We are a small conference, but we are just small enough that Marcus was able to literally read every single paper review and every single discussion, which is a truly incredible amount of work, not to mention all the work that he did on making the schedule, interfacing with AAAI, everything that he's done while he's been here. So I am so excited to be leaving AIIDE in Marcus's and eventually Rogelio's hands. They're going to do an incredible job. I really look forward to this conference. If you get a request to serve as some kind of volunteer position, I hope you will consider it. It's a bullet point on your CV. Is that bullet point on your CV worth all the work for it? Probably not. We do it.
Yes,
we do it because. Oh yeah, it definitely is.
You're making our lives more difficult here.
The fact is that we do this job because you love this community. This is the first conference I ever came to. It's still my favorite conference. It's the first place I send all my best and favorite work. And I want it to keep being a good experience for everybody else. And so that's why you take on these organizer roles. So if you get a request to be a volunteer, I really hope you will consider doing it.
I have to interrupt. Stephen did all the actual work. He did. He ran so many things that I was either vaguely aware of or was aware of and just couldn't handle because it was so much. So really, Stephen is the main driving force, or was the main driving force behind this year's conference. So thank you for that, Stephen, really. And one other thing that we're also trying to do is to get the theme for the conference announced well in advance. So the theme for next year's conference is "Oh, the Humanity," and it is about how our AI systems interact with humans, affect humans, the impact on society, and everything that entails. So you will find more details in the call for papers that will come out at some point soon. But yes, that is the theme.
Great.
Thank you, Stephen.
And of course, just a thank you to everyone on our organizing committee, our workshops chair, local arrangements chair, doctoral consortium chairs, industry chairs, software track chairs, outreach chairs, social media chairs, website chairs, program chairs, all of the many, many chairs that were so competently filled this year. Thank you. And of course, thank you to AAAI and to our sponsors for making this conference possible. And thank you to all of you for attending. So thanks, everyone.